Māori have huge potential in terms of the prosperity that we are able to generate. This potential stems from our culture, which treasures collective effort and reward, concepts like manaakitanga and whanaungatanga. Living in a first world nation, we are highly advantaged in our attention to interconnectivity. For example, the typical farmer or market grower whose family holdings may control one or a few blocks of land. As Māori, we have the advantage of managing whole regions and are able to cooperate on a massive scale because we have the cultural foundation which enables this. This collective mindset can be turned towards any industry, and the economic term for this advantage is economies of scale. In the context of today's environmental challenges, our belief systems lead us naturally to apply best practices, and these can and should be promoted by us. The rise of enviro-friendly enterprises is becoming ever more evident, and Māori are able to claim a place within this economic surge with minimal effort by simply applying our kaitiakitanga principles. With strong leadership, vision, and resourcing, there is an abundant future waiting for Māori, and this prosperity will impact positively on mainstream New Zealand. As the largest iwi in Aotearoa, Ngapuhi has a leading role to play in our country's wealth and development. A meaningful settlement for Ngapuhi leverages a difficult past into a positive future. For this reason, it's critical the type of redress we obtain be suitable to launch a successful growth strategy for Ngapuhi. Logically, the economic strategy we eventually adopt should bring the greatest socio-economic benefits possible. One important consideration in our settlement package is the financial to natural assets ratio. Financial redress is often touted as the main outcome for many historic settlements, but the fair and proper management of monetary redress brings unique challenges. Money is easily spent, and history has made it abundantly clear that sound investment strategies are not always so sound in retrospect. History has shown the fickleness of the financial markets and investment sector. Settlements such as those managed and invested by Ngai Tahu and Tainui have finally been successfully grown with impressive results, and Ngapuhi must learn and emulate these successful strategies. As the largest iwi, Ngapuhi also has significant challenges to tackle, including housing, health, social, economic, energy, water, waste, and pollution issues to name a few. And along with a successful investment strategy, it's imperative that our outlook for the future be to solve these major issues for our people. Similarly to other settlements, inclusion in local and central government planning is necessary for Ngapuhi in order for us to more efficiently solve these problems. What is promising from an economic view is that by solving these issues, we must create solutions that can then be shared and applied around New Zealand and also globally. Assets that are understood to appreciate for certain are natural ones, the land and water that our tupuna knew and cared for so deeply. The assets they claimed, named, and cared for. These are the precious taonga that we must ensure we have returned for us in a settlement. These taonga open more possibilities for our people than what money alone can. The redress we are to receive from our settlement is quantified by the Crown's claims and negotiation teams using a formula known as the quantum. The formula used roughly authorises Crown negotiators to agree to a little over 2% in value in dollar terms as settlement of our historical claims against the Crown. The quantum is handed over in a settlement package in the form of cash or Crown-owned property or some combination of the two. The southern iwi settlements that were processed first were haggled to this fractional amount by the Crown, and because of the acceptance by them and of subsequent settlement groups, the government has become comfortable placing its ceiling of recompense at this level. A few factors play into the quantum's fractional value of return. The government of the day, or Parliament, must ratify settlement packages by enacting legislation. If Parliament cannot stomach the settlement package, then it will not be released. In terms of settlement size, the government plays a major part in this regard. It is the task of our negotiation team and support structures to maximize the dimensions of the Crown's compensation package to the satisfaction of Ngapuhi who they represent, and within the toleration of the Crown's limits, which are ultimately set by Parliament. Factors that can raise the tolerance towards us are a sympathetic government or a negotiation strategy which can circumvent the Crown's historic positioning. The Crown accepts that we have major differences in how we read Te Tiriti or the Treaty of Waitangi and admits certain breaches but does not concede full respite for its past actions. Instead, the Crown's position has centered around assisting Māori back into a position of economic parity with where we would have been had we not been disadvantaged by issues covered in our claims. This is the importance of collecting and properly prosecuting our joint claims and collectively analysing them in a succinct report for our negotiators. Time and energy will be required to perform a full stocktake of natural assets that we have claimed and cultural impediments that we have suffered. Deliberately approaching a settlement with proper preparation will result in a strong bargaining position with more options and awareness than otherwise possible. Some points of interest in the favour of Ngapuhi are that our ancestors were highly entrepreneurial and commerce savvy, yet our region currently is the most economically impoverished in the country. The difference between where we were and are now is great. Therefore, we have grounds to prosecute a significant settlement based on this difference alone. Our team has to be resourced and managed in a way where our outcomes are achieved in cohesion with the rights and benefits of all New Zealanders. To achieve the best deal for Ngapuhi, we have to advocate a settlement plan that returns the things that are important to us in a way that will advantage the average New Zealander and advance them. The last video in this short series reviews outcomes that our people need to achieve in order for Ngapuhi to rise to our full potential.